Hey there, it's Steve Brossman here from the Entrepreneurs Locker Room. But we've got a really cool interview today, a really great story, and one that is helping the planet. We've got Natalia Bondoli from Loomland, and she's going to share the story on how she got into sustainable furniture, but the next step that she's actually taking on helping the planet. Natalia, welcome along, and I really can't wait to share your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve, for having me. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Look, well, let's get to where this look for everybody at home listening to this. There's a massive story before all of this, but let's cut it down to this. What were you doing, and how did you get started in selling furniture and selling sustainable furniture?
There's a roller coaster of events, but the closest one really is during pandemic. I was opening a business that was play center for children, and I bought furniture and equipment that was going to go in that giant play center 2 days before we signed the contract. It was a 10-year lease contract. 2 days before we signed that contract, COVID lockdown happened. And needless to say, I couldn't continue with the business. I had all this furniture and equipment that's left. I couldn't ship it back. And so I was actually sitting in my home. And my kids and I, we were all over the boxes trying to pass through. And, after crying myself to sleep for about 2 months, I said, I got to do something about it. And so I tried selling it on Facebook Marketplace, everywhere else, created website, put it on the website, and start getting rid of that furniture just by pushing it on the website. And I like how it felt, and I decided to sell furniture on purpose. So that was the beginning of the business, really.
Ah, rose up from the ashes because that would have been absolutely devastating. The dream, not only was the dream ripped away, but potential bankruptcy was looming over you. We'll get into Loomland in a minute, but it was looming over you, and you thought, I've got to do something. So, okay, you had all this furniture, and you liked the sales part of it, and thought you could do this. But what switched you to the sustainability and the eco-friendly furniture route?
At the time when I decided to sell furniture on purpose, I wanted to find an angle that would help my business succeed and stand out. So I learned about furnishing industry on purpose because I wanted to be successful. So as I was diving into it, I realized this devastating impact the furnishing industry was having on our planet, natural resources here in US and across the world. And so I also saw an opportunity to make a difference. I have this favorite sayings. Steve Jobs once said, crazy people believe that they can change the world. Funny enough, it's the crazy ones who make a difference. So I saw an opportunity to make a difference by working with brands that share the same vision and they care for the planet. Their manufacturing process focus on sustainability, and they do not harm the planet while they're doing that. And so to me, the very core of the business is protecting what we already have, is working specifically with those businesses only. And so that was the direction that I started. And as the company evolved, there were more opportunities that I saw that I implemented as well.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. So, but the interesting thing is that when you think about sustainability and eco-friendly furniture, etc., doesn't it put it into the very expensive and it's only for the elite to be able to have that? What are your thoughts on that, and why have you stuck with that?
Absolutely not. I can argue on this topic all day long. It's true. People do care about saving money. The thing is, there's a lot of hidden costs in cheap furniture, and cheap furniture manufacturers tend to cut corners, right? Their materials are not strong, not the products are not well built, and there's cost to our planet. They use chemicals, the water, then those chemicals end up in our rivers then get in our soil. We eat food from, raised in our soil. So there's a whole cycle of it. But there's also cost to our society. A lot of particularly in China, a lot of manufacturers, they employ children. And so that's a true cost that a lot of people don't think about when they buy cheap furniture versus a little more expensive. Now, the reason it is more expensive, it's perceived to be expensive, because the manufacturers that actually pay fair wages to their employees, and they pay for the certifications for their materials to ensure that the planet doesn't get harmed and employees get paid well as well. So therefore, the cost is there. However, again, the underlying cost is more expensive to our planet. And also, very simplest way to say it, you buy something cheap, it lasts you maybe one season, then it breaks, it ends up in landfill, and then 2 months later or a season later you have to go buy a brand new piece again. On the long term, it's going to last, it's going to cost you just as much as if you to invest in something that is made out of sustainable, high quality material and produced well, that you're actually going to enjoy for a long time, and you're going to take better care of it. So it's good for your wallet ultimately, and for the planet as well.
Yeah, from what we were saying and what we were talking about earlier, that they source the best materials, they use the best manufacturing processes, and when you buy something from these companies and buy through you, the longevity is much more cost effective than buying the cheaper ones. I'm really keen to move into the next step that you've recently gone into, and you're all about protecting and helping protect, but you've now taken the next step, and I love the name Loomlander, that the people that you sell to, they also join with you in giving back to the planet. Can you tell me a little bit more about Loomlander and what it means?
Absolutely. I'm super excited about that. So Loomlander is basically our community. It's our growing community of like-minded, big-hearted people. And one thing I say is that you don't have to buy from us to become a Loomlander. If you share our vision, if you understand what we do and why we do it, you're already basically a Loomlander. Maybe down the road you decide to buy something great. We'll welcome you to the group. But Loomlander is not just buying the furniture. It's really being a part of the movement, part of the making very conscious choice about what you buy, what you bring in your home, and how your decisions today impact in future for our kids, for our planet, for all of us, ultimately long term. And so Loomlander basically, our company Loomland itself, at the very core of it, preserves the planet the way we already have it.
Yep.
Now, Loomlander takes it the next step, is that every time we receive an order, no matter how big or small, there is this donation goes to UN-led projects through GreenSpark. We support green lungs, so reforestation, and also plastic bank. And so that's something that customers not even aware. We just, as a company, from us, we donate. But there's even one step further. At the time of checkout, customer is given option to select any of the four projects that we support, that we donate on customers' behalf. It doesn't cost extra dollars. So we share our profits on customers' behalf. And it could be, customer could select, give 70 meals to children in Congo, or provide 35 days of business education for women in Kenya. And there's so many more things. And so at the end, then Loomlander, we give them the certificate and say thank you, because you've made the conscious choice to be part of our movement, to shop with us rather than Wayfair or elsewhere. We appreciate you, and this is what we do. This is how we do it, and this is how you are part of the solution and not a problem. And one last thing I want to say real quick, we do say that Loomlander is for life, and the reason we say that is because the projects that we support are actually reforestation, and we say Loomlander is for life, for plant life, ocean life, human life, because we do not support child slavery. So there's a lot involved in it, not just purchasing, but also how far we take it and our consumers take it with us.
So the interesting thing is that when people buy products from you, is that they're going to feel good because they're sitting in high quality. I've seen the furniture that you guys have. They are unique. They're beautiful. When people come around, they're going to be talking about the furniture, but not only that, they're going to feel good about sitting in something that's doing fantastic work for the actual planet. And not only that, you remind them, you give them certificates, and they feel good about purchasing instead of going down to the cheap furniture store and getting something that's going to break in a couple of years. They're going to be sitting there really enjoying that for quite some time. Well, talking about products, what are some of the most favorite products that people are buying from you, and why would that be?
Well, there's several, and I think one of the latest orders that we just had several in a row is our custom-made American leather sitting furniture. So it's all made in America, all American materials as well. So, the quality is there, exceptional quality, looks beautiful, and it's very customizable. And it comes from very modern, so it totally fits the Gen Zs, and it also comes in a very traditional, more into baby boomer kind of style that they prefer. So there's so many different styles anyone can pick, but it's very customizable too. And I think that's really key, because you can't go to Wayfair and find it, or you can't go find it in any other store, because you have to almost design yourself. You pick in the colors, you pick in the legs and everything else. And there's another piece that is not piece, a section that we do is made out of wood. So dining tables, coffee tables made out of the trunk. So the big chunks of the tree, that's fallen trees in the forest. No trees are being harmed during this process. Those are the fallen trees that's found from everywhere in US and outside of US. And then they kiln dry, so they for a very long time there's no bugs through it and whatnot. So the selections are huge, and people love that natural looks, because every piece is very unique. You cannot produce them in the factory, and it's really a conversation starter, because you can still see where the little bugs were biting in there, or different chips and whatnot, and there's stories that come with it as well. So those are really our favorite
Yeah,
pieces, and
I can
customers just
imagine why
love
they're
that
favorites, because
uniqueness.
there's nothing better than sitting on a good quality leather piece of furniture. It just feels good. So when you got friends around, or when you're sitting watching the TV, you just feel good in that great quality leather. And as you said, when you got friends around and they're sitting down at your table and they're looking at the table, it's a wow. And that conversation started. And not only that, I'm sure you're getting feedback from the clients that you have now, that they've got the furniture, but not only that, they've got their certificate. So when people are coming around, they're sitting there looking at the furniture, and they said, yeah, this company just goes that one step further. Here's the certificate we got for being a loom lender, and we're actually giving back to the planet. So it's a real cycle of doing good and feeling good. And I've got to take my hat off to you, because there was that moment when you were sitting down there looking at all the boxes saying, what am I going to do here to turn that around to create a very successful business that is helping the planet and making your clients and consumers feel good? So I know there's going to be details around here. The links to your website is going to be there as well. One last parting comment that you've got for our audience now on the furniture and the projects and everything that you're doing.
I think I think right now is important for all of us, regardless of what age we are and where we live, is to really focus on what, especially in the economy the way it is today, focus what your money is buying you, right? Focus on the value that your money is bringing to you. It is important to not only bring good things in your home for the quality of it, but also think about the example and the example you're setting and the message you send into a family, to your friends and those around you, right? If they say, if you want to be the change in the world, if you want to see the change in the world, start with yourself. It goes something like that. But I think it's important for all of us, every single one of us, if we do, no matter how tiny steps there are towards the right decision, towards those conscious decisions, it's going to catch on. It's going to be a domino effect, and altogether we can make a huge difference. We can be those crazy people who not only believe but actually do make change in the world.
Absolutely. And I'm going to finish off with the statement that if you want to see the change, be the change. And Natalia, thank you, so much for what you're currently doing, providing some great experiences for people that buy the furniture, but also for what you're doing to enhance the longevity of our wonderful planet. We've only got one. We haven't got to Mars yet, and I don't think I'd want to live there anyway. But thank you so much for what you're doing. And we're going to have another fantastic interview for you guys again real soon. Cheers.